lack of a real community, maybe the best way would be to run for office where, you know, you get a budget to, you know, pay for what you do, and then you get a budget for your team, your office. And that, for me, it's like, if I could do that, if the system could give me a budget to do the right thing, like, oh my God, that would be the greatest thing in the world. But being new to politics, I didn't really, you know, I didn't go about it the right way. I got too few signatures, and so they kicked me off the ballot. I ran the 182nd district that was helmed by at Joseph's, and the person who won, Ryan Sims. So, you know, it was a learning experience, and I said, you know, I'm finished with this. It's no more of this politics stuff. And, you know, as I was getting more into my recycling, and I'll get to that a little bit later, I realized that there were some issues dealing with the law that people just don't understand in terms of trash. You know, how what's on the curb is actually public property, you know, so you can always grab it. So, you know, doing all that, I'm saying, how can I get more people involved with this? How can I get the city to understand that if more people were involved, that it would actually save them money, because the city pays about $70 to $90 a ton to dump trash. And a lot of that trash that I've, you know, found, drums, suits, glasses, speakers, all heavyweight, all kinds of electronics. So anyway, that brought me back to wanting to run for office, to be able to influence legislation, to be able to motivate and inspire people, because I believe that, you know, politicians have a job to motivate and inspire too, to use their position, because people tend to, you know, like someone who's in a position of leadership. So I figured, let me try this thing one more time. So let's start with who I am, Ogbonna Hagins. I was born Paul Hagins, and my father was murdered when I was 2. He was coming home from a party, and a man in the car shot him. And fortunately, my mom, and her mom, and her father, and my grandfather. So we had that village, and that's what sustained me. That's what, you know, helped me to be able to, you know, grow without any real serious problems. So growing up, went to Dobbins High School, studied architecture at Dobbins, which was like a college course at Dobbins, which is so far from what the schools are today. The schools today have pretty much no trades. The trade schools and the vocational schools have been taken out. And if you notice, when they were taken out, you had Orleans Institute and all those different institutes that they were able to make money, but they took it out of the school system. You see, so that bothered me. I'm sorry, but so I graduated from Dobbins in '84. The teacher, the principal, called me back and said, "Yo, we're going to close this architecture class if you don't come back here and teach." And I had started my own business. You know, I didn't really want to go back, but imagine your principal calling you and asking you to come back, and it's in your hood. I had an obligation to go back. I could have stayed out, you know, but it was the greatest thing that ever happened to me. The students became my children. They actually became my children. It's a student, Sharif Fennell, who kept giving me a problem. I was a new teacher, and I started off as a substitute. So I went to his house, and he was on the bus, and he saw my car. He said, "Oh my God!" And back at that time, it was pagers. So his mom was paging him because I had called. So to make a long story short, that's how much I cared. I had to go out and make sure that his mother knew that he was messing around in school. And I'm so happy today to say that he just started a business, a detailing business at 29th and Washington Avenue. He's also a real estate broker. He sells insurance. His name is Sharif Fennell. So, I mean, it's just incredible how, I mean, they didn't pay me a whole lot as a teacher, but how do you get paid when your students, children know about you? You know, how could I ask, and it's not just one, just like Mr. Hamill back there, I call him Mr. Ellis. Mr. Ellis worked on, when I did radio, he did my introduction. You know, it's just amazing. You go back to my notes. So, I started teaching, I taught for 9 years, and then my sons were conceived, my twins. And I'm like, how can I send them to a daycare center? And I'm gonna go to work. I said, no, I have to quit. And my wife at the time, she had a good enough job that I was able to be Mr. Dad. I was able to stay home with my children for the first 3 years of their life, which I know it absolutely gave them the foundation. You know, coming from home, you think about going to a daycare center, so many other influences. So I influenced their food and everything. So now, one of them is in the Netherlands, studying music at the Maastricht Academy. He just finished his first semester. He's on his way to Paris right now. To me, bus trip to Paris. He called me yesterday. My other son, he took a sabbatical from Penn State, moved back to Philly, and he suffers from depression. And he said, look, I want to go to LA. But it was some economic issues with his grandfather and all that, so he was just going to go on a vacation. He leaves, calls me, Baba, I'm not coming back. I'm staying in Cali. I'm going to come back to visit. But, on one side I'm upset. I'm not upset, but, as a parent. But I'm saying, they're fine. We did everything that we could do, and they're their own people, and they deserve to have their, life, but it was because they had good parents, and we stayed on them, and we had that village. So that's part of what I want to do, is to actually create a village in our community, actually create those communities. I talk a lot to my man Sharp, my friend Yumi, Mr. Oliver, we talk